What's up with my APA family? It's your boy LAPA coming through with another video, some content for the youngsters. I already know, man. We're kicking them tails for the YGs, the reoffenders, so that the latter doesn't go back into the system and the former doesn't go into the system to begin with, right? And as you can tell by the good old caption, that uña, that thumbnail, that uña. One of my first rushes in juvenile hall, meaning getting down with my enemies. So, out there, man, you really see people out there being stuck on a lot of the YA stories. And, for the ones that are real, rightfully so, right? And then you got those that, ain't necessarily true, but they make up things. But that's neither here nor there. So, look, man, I'm going to take you all the way back, man, to the way back when, late 90s, early thousands, just around the time I was in the halls. This one happened in Joplin Youth Center, one of the juvenile hall camps, man. So for those of you that don't know, man, Orange County juvenile halls is not the same as LA County. If you live down south and you get news from LA, you're also going to get news from Orange County and Riverside and San Bernardino. That's the area that encompasses the LA area. But each area has different juvenile halls, it's different counties, right? So, the school in juvenile hall is Otto A. Fisher. Joplin Youth Center has its own little high school or pretty much high school. So, I get there, man, and they always used to put me in the cabs. They had 5 different groups. I think the Amigos, the Hermanos, the Cavs, and there's 2 ones that I don't even remember, man. It was a long time ago. But I was always in the Cavs. The Cavs are right in the middle of the dorm. And every time I used to get there, man, the staff members already knew my brother from before. My last name is a very rare last name. But not only that, but they remembered us. Right. And all the staff used to tell me, like, man, Manzanares, that's my last name. Manzanares, man, remember your brother, man. The only thing that you got going against you is your gang. Why don't you leave your gang, man? You're wasting your life. You're doing this. They used to always try to talk me out of gangbanging, right? And in my mind, I'll be like, yeah, I know, man. I'm trying to change this and that. But in my mind, I'm thinking, like, I'm just telling them what they want to hear, right? Because the fact of the matter is, I always have the intellectual quota inside of me, the intellectual capacity. But I love my neighborhood. And I was in juvenile hall to represent my barrio. I mean, I'm not saying that's why I went to get locked up to juvenile hall, but when I was in there, I'm always going to represent my neighborhood to the fullest, right? So I get there, man, this time around. And usually we go to school. It consists of a routine. We used to go down to the rec room. We used to go down to the field, the basketball court, the library, what have you, right? After school. During the day, it was school. And then we used to have work program, meaning depending on whose group it landed on that day, we used to have to go down the hill and work with picks and axes and shovels and all kinds of stuff. Do straight gardening work up in the mountain, hot as hell. Man, I used to hate it. You used to have our boots with those brown pants, and they used to have color shirts. A lot of the times I was on yellow shirt, and yellow shirt meaning you're at the bottom of the ladder, meaning you're getting written up for this reason or another. And I used to always get written up for calling out my enemies, and them dudes used to rank it. Be like, no, bro. No. I used to tell them, hey, get up, homie, get up. Be like, nah, man, I'm here to program. Man, you so-and-so, you're this, you're that. I used to tell them. And then occasionally I used to run into the ones that were with the business too, and let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So every time I used to go back to Joplin after going down to Unit A, after getting down with them, that's just what it was. So on this particular day, man, there was this dude from Latin Boys and the dude from KPC, right? The dude from KPC pretended like he was, I want to say pretend, or at least he acted like he was going to rush the dude from Latin Boys. He was on the other side. And when the dude from Latin Boys group came to the chair area, in the middle of the dorm, there was this chair area that every group used to go to every single morning as soon as we woke up, right? As soon as we woke up, they used to go there, you know? And so when it was the dudes from Latin Boys group turn to go to the chair area to get their teeth brushed as soon as they woke up, before they go to school and all that, they used to prepare us. The dude from KPC acted like he was going to rush him, but the fool from Latin Boys got up his chair and kind of faced him. You know, they were probably like 15 feet away. It wasn't even close. Obviously, the staff was like, hey, hey. So my point with saying that is that nothing happened. The dude stopped halfway. It's almost like he was just like, you know, flexing on him, whatnot. So the dude from KPC got himself in trouble, you know. That day, the day before, I got sick. And I got sick, I got really, really sick. I ended up catching the flu. And bro, I could barely walk. I could barely, like, I was really fatigued. Really, I was legitimately sick, right? And so they put me on bed rest. So when this happened, I was on bed rest. And I just remember hearing the commotion. And then I looked up. I was like, man, these fools are tripping. And I'm laying down because I don't get along with either one of these dudes, right? But when I get there, we're in different groups. Even though we're in the same dorm, they don't look at me, I don't look at them. And it's almost like we're waiting to run into each other formally before we get down, right? So the dude from KPC, man, ends up being held back from Klecha. Everybody else, all the groups, including my group, go to school. The only way you could ditch school or not go to school is if you're on bed rest. You know, a lot of fools try to get on bed rest, but it's really rare for you to get on bed rest. You legitimately have to be sick to get on bed rest. And like I said, I was legitimately sick. So this is the only dude with me in the dorm at the time. And inevitably, man, this fool, like, you sit in there, whatever. I think they're going to remove him from there to Unit A because he's just been getting too many write-ups. And, they're tired of him, right? So, like I said, inevitably, he looks at me. And he's like, shh, shh, hey, chorizo, disrespecting my neighborhood, right? And I look, I'm like, what's up, fool? What's up? He's like, get up, homie, get up. And, he took advantage of the situation. He thought that I was going to rank it. And I was going to be like, man, I'm sick, dog, some other time. And I was like, fuck, man. I remember thinking like, and even I said it all out. I was like, fuck, this fucking guy, man. Really? All right. I get up slowly and I put on my shoes. And by the time I make it to the, it was bunk beds. It was bottom bunk, top bunk. By the time I grab the bar and I get up to make it to the front of my bunk, this dude's already walking towards me. And when he walks towards me, I just get ready and he rushes me and I just, boom, we hit each other. He hits me in my face. I hit him in his nose. And the hit was strong enough for me to be like, oh, okay, cool. I backed up a little bit. And when I looked down, that fool was on his knees. I dropped him, went to his knees. He's gushing from his nose. And when I seen that, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I get on top of him. And the next thing I remember seeing was Usigby grabbing me. It was one of the staff members. And all I seen was my whole world spin. Boom! He fucking slammed me to the ground. That hurt more than that hit. You know what I'm saying? And the two individuals that stopped us that day was two staff members. Usigby, little short, pop belly, looked like a Buddha, black African staff, and Bird, big, tall, white boy, Bird, man. For those of you that remember Bird, man, Bird was there. He was behind the podium. Usigby was somewhere in that office. And but they heard the commotion when I was beating on that dude, and that was that. That was one of my first. That wasn't my first fight, but that was one of my first fights. I jumped on them, and then we ended up getting removed. And the crazy part about it is that um, he had been talking all that masa, man. Before that, he'd been talking all that masa about how he's gonna fuck me up, this is that. One hit dropped him, you know. Um, and and I jumped on him, the only time I remember thinking, the only time that you actually get to listen to music in juvenile hall was in Joplin. If you had that light blue shirt and up, you used to get those little yellow radios. I don't know if they have those yellow radios no more. I already heard that they closed it down, but after the fact, right? Because years later, they still had that camp open. But that's the only way you used to listen to radio, right? And I could never make it to a light blue or blue shirt because I was always getting written up for gang activity, for calling dudes out. And that's why my counselors were mad at me. They're like, man, bro, if you weren't a gang member, man, you would thrive, you would succeed, man. But you know, you're stuck on your gang shit. I was just like, it is what it is, So we got removed, and in the van, that's when they play music. So the whole ride there to juvenile hall, man, I had a great time listening to music. At the time, I think it was like what song was out, man? Shit. Eminem had barely came out. I think it was, and this happened, I think, in like 2000, 2001, I think. One of those 2 years. And he was in the back seat, dry blood and all that shit. It is what it is, man. Wherever he is, man, I wish him the best. I think they ended up calling him Dizzy or Droopy. He was Dizzy at the time, Droopy later on. It is what it is. But I wanted to share this, man, for the youngsters out there because, I've been there. I've done that, and yeah, you get there, you get locked up, you got to represent for the neighborhood and all that shit. A lot of dudes rank it and all that shit. But at the end of the day, man, this shit ain't getting you nothing. This shit ain't getting you not a damn thing. Brown on brown animosity. We're all going to shine because we have good hearts. But if we were to put our energies and our heart towards righteous endeavors instead of this type of stuff, man, imagine me going at a college degree or something righteous as hard as I went towards getting down with this dude. Sick as a dog. I was sick as a dog, man. And I still got up and I still had the heart to represent. And like a lot of us do, and a lot of you guys do, and have done it. But it was just part of the game. It was what it was, and it is what it is. Man, you guys be good, man. I appreciate you guys listening to this story, man. It may not be what you guys are used to, but I definitely want to share my experiences, man. Like I said, for the youngsters, the reoffenders, even just to remind and to give you guys that, little memory, like, and keep you on that path of righteousness. You know what I'm saying? I ain't perfect, but we're righteous. And that's just what it is. One life saved is one life blessed. A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. Guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Please, guys, support the channel, man. I really appreciate you guys. Drop a comment, and please, please, please share this video. You guys be good. APA.